Good morning, guys. Here we go. Pour 3:30. It's 2:30 right now. Headed to the job site. It takes 40 minutes to get there. The guys always show up around 2:30, so we show up about an hour earlier than concrete does, just to get stuff ready. Yeah, this is part of being a builder. I'm one of the guys that like to show up. That's my job. Show up to see how the pour is going, make sure everything's going smooth. I always go to every single pour. It's just part of my responsibility. It's what I do. It's part of Hilltop. It's part of Hilltop View. We like to go to our pours. I require me and one of our soups to be there at the job site. I go there. I'll spend all day there, and then from 2:30 to 7, I have to leave because I have a pre-con at 9 o'clock for another job, and then from 9 I'll head back to that job to see how things are going. Yeah, I'm gonna call dispatch in a little bit to see if they're on track. Having my coffee this morning. There's a lot of stuff that goes into building a house. So let me tell you a little bit about it. We're building, I think, a 3,000 square foot house, and we are building a 3,000 square foot house in the hill country here in Dripping Springs. I'll tell you a little bit about the concrete. So this is what goes into it. So we have our foundation plan. Before you do the foundation plan, I like to do the site work. We out there will do is, for example, this particular house, we had to cut the hill. So it's on a hill, so obviously that'd be cool, Hilltop here. So it's on the hill. We cut the hill off. We took about 4 feet off that hill. Then we did our forms. We cut the hill. We did a geotech. Well, sorry, before the forms, we called the geotech so they could come and see. Geotech is the guys who come and do the soil testing. And they came and looked at what we're doing. They're like, "Yep, that's intact rock. It's solid rock all the way across." So after we do after they come and do the intact rock, then we don't set our forms in because it is intact rock. The engineer is only required for you to do a keystone cut onto the intact rock, 4 inches. We do a keystone cut 12 inches. I like to have a minimum of 12 inches, and then the whole pad is solid rock. So we go around and we mark all the exterior beams and interior beams. So you have to wait around a little bit for the geotech guys to come out and give that report. In the meantime, we're still doing some site work around the property, cutting the road, getting down to the job site. So we have the geotech report. After the geotech report, we send it out to our engineering department. Engineering department does and creates the floor plan, the foundation plan, sorry. So once we have the foundation plan, which is quick, it takes 1 to 2 days to create a foundation plan after the geotech report. Geotech report really determines or tells our engineer, yeah, this is the kind of soil, this is how deep your beams should be, this is what kind of rebar, and then the engineer creates the foundation plan. So after the foundation plan, it tells us how many beams and what depth. If we have a deep beam, if we don't, deep beam usually is, I think, 5 feet and above. So once we have that from the engineering department, our engineering department, then what we do is we lay it all out. We there pop all the lines on the ground, and then we hammer. We have a excavator hammering all the interior and exterior beams. Exterior beams are the outer beams that are on the foundation. Interior is all the inside beams are in the middle of the foundation. So we hammer all the beams. We do usually 12-inch step. We hammer all the beams, go over all the way around the house, all the interior beams. Because then, if you don't hammer them and you just do base on top, and there's not enough depth on that. So, like, we have 10 inches of base, but it's required. Like this particular foundation, we have to have minimum 22 inches interior depth from the top grade to the bottom of the beam, and the exterior is 24. That's why we go. That's why we go a foot. We have a foot down and a foot up. All right, so now that we have all the exterior, all the beams hammered, we go ahead and form boards. We place our form boards all the way around. The form boards is what creates the foundation, the framing of the foundation, so to say. So the concrete has somewhere to go. It basically creates like box. All right. So when we have this form boards up, then we come in and start bringing base in. Base is like base that we order directly from the plant. Bring it in, and we start laying base down. What we do is we lay base down every 4 to 5 inches and wet it, compact it. A lot of people, I tell people, it doesn't matter how deep your beams are. If your pad is not good, then you're gonna have a weak foundation, because you don't want that pad to be compacted, to start compacting or compressing. So that's what we wet it, compact every 4 inches, to give us a good compact rate. All right, so after we start working on all that, then we have our plumbing. The plumber comes in, cuts all his tunnels so he can run all the plumbing. It's called rough-in plumbing. So the rough-in plumbing comes in, he does his thing. We come out again and verify all the measurements, make sure everything's on the spot, make sure there's no plumbing out of the walls. I mean, it does happen, but we get pretty close. It's usually spot on. Alright, so now then we call for inspection. Inspection comes out, passes the plumbing. Alright, now from that, then we go ahead and start. We go back and regrade everything, because the plumber comes and cuts with the excavator, and then we have to go back and regrade. After we grade, so hold on. Before plumbing passes, the inspection is required to have water in the pipes or air. If you put air, then you have to put a cap and measure it. The problem with air is I've had it where one of the joints will come apart, because they put like 5 to 10 pounds of air. If one of the joints come apart, it'll blow a hole through the foundation. I seen it happen. It's like bam, it blows a hole, and not through the foundation itself, but through the base pad. And a big old hole comes out, and it's crazy. It looks crazy. It sounds crazy. It sounds like a grenade went off. So what we try to do is water. Water's the best test. So we have a 4-inch pipe that it's about 10 feet tall, and we fill that sucker up with water all the way to the top. And then inspection comes in, and he goes, "Yep, it has water." He tests it. At this point, it's still not covered, so we go ahead and cover it. Still leave the water in it. We go ahead and cover everything up, and then we measure as we're working, putting the rebar in, doing the poly, put the rebar in. We're measuring that water rate, see how much it drops. It's gonna drop a little bit because of the evaporation rate. it's 100 degrees, so it will consume a little bit because it will evaporate, but it's not a lot. Because we always leave one of the caps open. Here's a food for thought. So at this job, the guys had PVC, or not PVC. They had PVC'd all the caps. Yeah, all the caps except one. Put caps on the PVC except one, and then we had black tape on that 4-inch pipe. And I was like, why is water? I was looking at it and I was like, where's this water coming from? There was water on the ground. And I was looking around, I was like, did we break a joint? We looked, it was so hot that the water started expanding and coming out from the top of that PVC pipe. I was like, man, that's crazy. How hot are we for the water to start coming out of that PVC pipe? So it was expanding. Water was like 110 degrees, and it's 120. So it was just coming out. It had somewhere to go. It has to go somewhere. So it's getting pushed out. Anyways, that's just a note. Figured out where that water was coming from the top. Moving forward. So we put the rebar in, poly rebar. We call for an inspection. Inspector comes out. He's like, looks around and goes, and this is make sure the inspections, make sure you set the rebar correctly, set the right depth, set our beams are the right depth. So that gets done. We pass inspection. At this point, we do the ground and grounding of the rebar. So a lot of people don't understand. So minimum of 25 feet has to be grounded. So we ground it in 3 different points on our exterior beam. So I like to run 30 feet. So we have that grounded. So where that ground has to go directly to the first box to the house. And it's going to be a sub panel, most likely, because there's probably going to be a pole that has to be put in, and then there's going to have to be a disconnect. But most likely it's going to be to the first panel. That's where I like to go. I don't like to go to the second panel. I like to go directly to the first panel on the house. Then from there you can do any other sub panel, but I like to get it at the first panel that goes to the house. Okay, so moving on. We get our grounding roofer gets put in, call for inspection for that passes, and at that point, everything that's passed, we are ready to pour. We're looking at 3 weeks of worth of work. It happens pretty quick. There's a lot of moving parts. Oh, I forgot to mention. So during this whole process, while we have the forms up, we call them waterboard forms. We had to put our stringers. Our stringers are free-floating forms that tell us they tell us the height, the depth, where the forms are. We put the stringers up and we call the survey company. It's called a pre-pour survey. They come out and survey the property, survey the house, and make sure we have the house in the correct spot. A lot of people have gone in deep trouble for not calling a survey company. That's a big deal. I've had clients reach out to us and they fired their builder because the forms were not in the right spot, or they were encroaching onto the neighbor's property, or not within the building setbacks. So it's very important. I tell clients all the time, I was like, when you do surveys, I'm not going to cheap out $900 and not do a survey and not knowing exactly where that house is getting put onto the property. It's a big deal. All right, so we have the survey company. Survey company says, yep, you're in the right spot. You can go ahead and that's how we secure, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and start doing the foundation. Now there is companies, there is out there, there's builders out there that go all the way, put up all the forms, call their survey company, and the house is not correct. So they have to take all the forms out, move the house over. I don't wait that long. I do waterboard lines. That's close enough to get us from where we need to be. And we call a survey company. Alright, so get away from the survey. We're gonna, alright, so now we're ready to pour. Alright, now we call a concrete company. Hey guys, we need 130 yards, 150 yards, whatever. Put us on the schedule. Let's try to hit as early as we can, 3 o'clock in the morning, because it's hot as heck. And you don't want to be pouring concrete at 8 o'clock. You don't want to do a slab at 8 o'clock in the morning. It sucks. It'll cure faster than when you can freaking work it. It's too much work. It's too hard on the guys. So we do it at night. Night is the best time. 3 o'clock in the morning, we pour. Now there is out here in the hill country, we don't have a problem. But there is neighborhoods you cannot pour until like 8 o'clock in the morning. That sucks. Pouring a slab at 8 o'clock in the morning, that sucks. Now, 3 o'clock in the morning, that's the best time. Nice and cool. You don't have to rush. You don't have to run to make sure your concrete sets before you're able to work it. So yeah, we do it 3 o'clock in the morning. It's rolling out. Then we go ahead and start. And we go ahead and pour, and that's where we're headed right now. It's time. We're gonna see how it looks. You guys should have the lights out there already. We have water out there. We have set up our perimeters. They should set up the truck. We had the boom truck. The pump, we call it the boom truck, but it's a pump on the boom. I'm hoping at 7 o'clock we should be pouring everything. It should be good pretty quick. So I'll keep you posted.